Hi everyone, let's start today's call. This is our first sprints for 2016 and welcome everyone. Since it's going to be like a shorter sprint, we want to clean up some of the tickets that we have before the holidays break. So let's go through the tickets together. And I want to look at the Huawei issues, and we have identified that the APK needs to be generated and built on Android 21 in order to work compatible with the Huawei devices we have for implementations. So Simon went ahead and set up the environment on our Linux on the cloud environment so that all the APK moving forward will be generated from there. So I think the next step is for testing for this ticket to make sure that with this APK to make sure that all those selections are not highlighted in blue color. I think that's the remaining parts for us to test for this ticket. Anyone have comment on this one? If no, let's look at the next one. It's part of the oncology forms, and it's the histopathology form. Ruth had did some testing before the holiday, and to confirm that it's working as expected, we're going to do the code review, and so that we can do another round testing, and then we can wrap this up. Any questions or comment on this one? If not, let's move on to the pre-testing column. The tickets for 359, 360, and 361 are all related to the teleconsultation notification part. And it's on Sam Buga's court, and I will follow up with him to see where he is at after the holiday. Unless you guys have other updates on that. If not, let's look at the Canon EMR part. So before the holiday, we did do some testing on the registration form as well as the other mini forms for the blue cards. And I have a few comments and feedbacks that need to be fixed. Simon, do you want to give us an update on those?
Yeah, I made some changes in the forms, and I uploaded them to the server just before we went on holiday. But I've tried to access the server right now. It's not accessible, so it requires a restart from the Kenya EMR side.
Okay.
So I tried to ping Nicholas. I've not received feedback.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you're going to paint. Let's just do that. So you already had that fixed. Yeah, so we'll test after, and then you let us know, put a comment on this one so that we know when it's ready.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Simon. So let's look at the other two tickets which are on hold. They are on the CDM program. They are the dispensary form as well as the health center form. Lawrence, do you want to give us an update whether there's any progress from your side?
I don't know. I see Dr. Kirui on the call. Maybe he could mention something.
Hi, Dr. Kirui.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Awesome.
For the dispensary, I think it's what we're waiting on is basically the forms and concepts team. I think Petronilla was on leave. We were working with her, but I've tried to talk to Kenneth Tor, to see whether he can just follow up, especially with Anastasia and Sarah, to see whether we can get the final concept ready. But I think for the dispensary form, it was completed, and there weren't, because there was just one new concept that we're trying to get through. That's what we're waiting on. It's been difficult to know who we're dealing with, especially now that Petronilla is on leave. But we hope we can to get something moving. We've emailed both at least Anastasia and Sarah to see whether they can help us out with this.
Okay. Yeah, I think should be back to normal business sometime this week. I think like the first couple weeks is like holidays. A lot of people are out. Yeah, so they should get back to you guys probably sometimes this week.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks. How about the health center form? Is it the same situation for health center form? Dr. Curie, is the health center form also on the MPAC form and concept team court?
Yes, both of them are with the forms and concepts team.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks. So thank you. So let's look at the LAC forms. I know that there's quite a bit of changes that Simon had done to make sure that the logic and reminders like show up, the messages, and there are also tests on them. So is it correct that it's been signed off that it's working properly, Derek?
Sure, I would agree.
Yeah, so I wonder if there's anyone from the LAC team also got a chance to test on this as well.
I did my test together with Savai and Kimaru. I did again a test today with Kimaru, who is one of the research assistants at
Okay.
at
Okay,
LAC.
cool. So we'll move. So it needs to do like a merge, and then that would be ready for implementation then.
Sure. And what's happening is that the plan is next week I'll be going out to Chepkemel and Cheplaskei. And in Chepkemel, I need to have prepared a number for 18 forms, of which I'll be doing that in the course of the week. So that means that we need to move up to speed and make sure that we have the form on prod, such that we can download, such that I can go with it out next week and pull out also other devices from the field to come and update.
Okay, so so when do you need these two forms to be ready on the production server?
Latest maybe on Thursday this week, such that I can be able to prepare the devices Monday.
Okay, so we'll try to aim for tomorrow then, so that you have enough time.
Hapo sawa.
Thank you. Awesome. The other tickets are more on the demographic update form. So Simon, do you get a chance to work on it, because I know that it's a holiday break?
Yeah, I did some changes on the form. I've created a form that I will be working on. And I've uploaded it to the mUzima test server. I think it's the name is Simon Demographic Update. I think anyone logging onto the server will see the form. So what I'm doing next is to work on the server side handler.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be updating the ticket on my progress regarding the server side.
Okay, cool. I think the last one that need to be cleaned up is the from the server, and because it got left off by Srida with the screenshot and things like that, and so let's just do this, and so let's just go through this again, because actually Lawrence was the one who provided those screenshots, how it's supposed to look like and things like that, and we're going to I'm going to update this ticket because it's been a while, so that we would we can refresh our memory for this ticket. So those are pretty much the tickets for this current sprint. Anyone have any comments or questions? Okay. If not, let's move to the next agenda item, which is the error resolution progress. So Simon, I want you to take lead on this item since you were working with the team the past week.
Yeah, there was a list I sent out showing the number of errors performed on production server, and I know the respective teams are working on resolving. This morning I've not checked how many are still there, but I don't know whether if we can get updates from the respective teams, whether they've done anything so far.
How about let's start with LAC team.
For LAC team, the data manager has been handling that. I'm not sure whether he's done with it, but most probably I think he should have, because we had a meeting yesterday in which he said he was working on it. So I would say let me get the information from him and maybe send via mail.
Okay, so
yeah.
just want to double confirm. Do you guys have enough information how to move forward for resolving those error messages?
On my side, I would say yes.
Okay, cool. So just let us know if you encounter any challenges.
Okay. Yeah, and the same is also happening for the forms on VM server. So, yeah, of which data is also coming in the VM server. There is live entry that is taking place, and at the same time, resolution of any error is also taking place at the same time. Yeah.
Okay. I think it would be good for us to log the weekly progress so that we can make sure that they have been addressed in a timely manner.
Okay.
Yeah. So Ruth and Roba, I think maybe you guys can help with making sure the log in the with different programs. Okay. So next is how about CDM? Lawrence, do you know if your team got a chance to work on the error resolution?
Yeah, we've worked on a few that was specific, encounter specific. But for those that were related to the registration form seemed to have a problem, and I think we looked at that with Simon last week on Friday, where when you hit on the registration link, the looks like it's attempting to load the registration form, but that doesn't happen, so it just keeps rotating at that point. So we probably need that fixed for us to be able to resolve those encounters that are tagged to registration forms that have.
Yeah, you need to work on the registration form first. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so so you guys have enough information to move forward?
So Simon, because like you can't go past that point, and I was wondering, okay, the other option is to like re-register these patients on the server side, and then process the encounter with a new.
How about you requeue both the how about you requeue all the registration form? No, I think that's one easy way. Maybe someone like to requeue all the error messages in the queue, and then so that with the new UI, it will include the corresponding registration form link on the encounter message.
Can I just mention something? Edda?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. You know, what is happening is that for some reason which is not yet clear to me, the errors that Lawrence is mentioning, which we have encounters that cannot load the respective registration form errors. The reason is that those registration form errors are not there, which to me is not clear how it happened. So if there's an encounter that has a registration error on the queue, that one works perfectly. You click on the link and it will load the registration error, and you can process it. But for those that are missing, it won't load, which is a problem on the error resolution UI. It should at least give a message to say the error is not there.
Oh, you mean that actually there's no corresponding registration form in the error queue, but then when you fix the encounter, and then get reprocessed, it would say it cannot move forward because it's looking for the corresponding registration error.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
For some reason, I looked at some of those. You find the encounter form is complaining of not being able to find the patient. So when you check the database, the patient is actually not registered, and there is no data on the error queue. Neither is it on the queue awaiting to be processed. So it happens. It's like some data was submitted without the respective registration.
I think that's a big problem. I think we need to look into whether there's a possibility that somehow the user is able to delete the complete registration form on the device. And then, because all those corresponding encounters, payload is still there and then got submitted. That's one of the possibilities I can think of right now. And then I think we need to really look into how that happened, because it could cause serious problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now to resolve those ones, I shared the approach with Tor. What you'll have to do is to re-register the patients, and then during resolution, he'll have to pick the UID of the newly registered patient and use it to resolve the encounter forms.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's the workaround.
Yeah.
So can you share some of those, maybe like a few examples? So I would like to look into that one as well.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Tao also just joined in. Maybe he could also comment on because he was initially working on the errors towards the end of last year. Maybe just a comment.
Hi, Tao.
Hello, everyone. Well, as Survive mentioned, I think we discussed a lot on the errors resolving last year, and I really managed to sort out many errors in the error queue, which I think by then the stand was 434, which I think by today it is 389. That is the total errors for all departments existing or using mUzima. So for the existing encounter queue, you find, especially for the CDM, it doesn't have the registration form. So what we have discussed with Safai is what he has said. I start first with all the registration forms, and then if we have a situation where we had a registration form at the same time an encounter form, I resolve first the registration form and then I requeue the encounter form. For a case where we have an encounter form in the queue, I register the patient and then pick the UUID for that new created patient and then use to resolve the encounter form. I think that is what we had discussed with Savai. Thank you.
Yeah, so when you guys create a new patient record on the server side, so do you assign a new universal ID, or you use the same universal ID?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes. When I create a new patient, of course, it will create a new UUID. Then I will pick the new UUID and update the UUID generated in the encounter form. And then you the encounter form. Yeah.
Okay, so when you create a new patient record in the production side, So you're required to enter the AMRS ID. Do you use the the same AMRS ID, or
Yes.
you assign a new one?
No, I use the same MRS ID.
Okay, great. Thanks. I just want to confirm. Yeah, thanks. Good.
I have a question.
Yes.
Given the errors in the registration form, what impact does it have from the clinician? Because the occasions where in the field we'd register the patient and give them an MRS ID, and immediately after that fill the first encounter form for that particular visit. If it's in the error queue, how does if those then go to the error queue, when this patient comes back for a return visit a month later, if the error has not been resolved, how is that data? How does the clinician in the clinician interface, how is that affected? And is there anything that we can do or we need to be aware of? Because there are occasions where we're trying to get that previous encounter or the registration form and we cannot really get it, and it becomes a challenge.
Yeah, I think that's why we want to monitor the weekly on a weekly basis that on the error resolution, because we want to make sure the turnaround between when those payload got submitted to the server get reprocessed to next time that available for update and downloaded. We want to make sure that the turnaround is in a timely manner. One thing is that the information you submitted to the server side for processing, there's still some temporary data available on the devices that they can still access and view it. So that's one thing. But we just want to make sure that, in case that there's an existing patient record in the server side, we want to make sure to bring additional information and additional data back the next time the provider, when they sync the data from the server to the device, they get all the data that they need for this particular patient. So more comprehensive information. We want to make sure that this process happen in much like a timely manner, so that the provider have more information about this client instead of like partial information about this client.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So that's why I think this is a very good point, Dr. Curie, because we really want to make sure that the error queue has been resolved on a weekly basis, so that we can avoid any like missing information. As you know, as a clinician, it's important to have as much information as possible, so that you can just avoid any conflicts that any potential conflicts that maybe issue certain medication that should or should not. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. How about oncology? Do we have anyone from oncology on the call?
We have no information from oncology, but I'll find out from Kipto.
Okay. So you're going to chat with Kipto?
Sorry?
Can you say one more time?
I said so far we don't have any information on the error resolution from oncology. I'll find out from Kipto, then I'll update the team.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Robert. So thanks, guys, on the error resolution update and progress. Next one is the implementations update. Let's just check with LAC first. Derek, is there anything that you guys would, excuse me, you would like to share with the team?
Just like I mentioned earlier, we have the costing questionnaire that is being entered into the VM that is ongoing, and everything is happening live. On the same note, we are also handling data entry of the backlog forms that we did, like collect data using the hard copies at the time when we were still developing the form to bring it up to its current state. For the retention tools, for the BA tools, that is the retention and leakage forms, we realize that it's like mostly the CHWs who are supposed to be like collecting data on this particular form are not doing much. So the plan here is like next week we will be doing retraining, and we'll be handling 4 community units in a week, whereby combining 2 community units all together, retrain them on a specific on one day. Then the following day, what we will do is we'll go and have some follow-up on patients and be able to submit data to production server. So we'll have 3 consecutive days. That means if we go for the training on Monday, pull out the phones from the CHW the same day, come and update the devices on Tuesday, then on Wednesday go out back to the field, give out the phones again, then do some follow-up of specific patients to link them and retain. So that means some more data will be coming in as from next week in production server. That is the plan this way. Thank you.
So curious about when you have the CHW for updating their forms when you get together. Are you the one who update those for them, or did you help them, you teach them how to update themselves on their devices?
No, what will happen is the first day what we'll do retraining with the few number of devices that I have here. I have about 18. Okay, then pull out the phones from them, come and update it the following day. Then the third day is when I have to go back with the forms already updated, then go out with them.
So who actually doing this updating the form? Are they the ones doing for that each device, or you help them to do that?
No, I will do it myself.
So is there any reason they is it challenging for them to do it themselves?
Yeah, I would say it will be very challenging because it's tough to handle them.
Okay, I'm just curious. Yeah. So it is something that helpful for us to think how we can for future purpose, like how we can think, consider all these different possibility, how we can enhance and how with the actual user to do it themselves.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So if you have any observations or feedback or things like that, that'd be helpful to share with us.
Sure. I'll be sharing out.
Thanks, Derek.
Karibu.
How about for CDM?
I was in Butler, in Busia for a follow-up, and we have one active clinical officer who's been really using the device, I would say, and his forms have been streaming in, though he had a problem synchronizing his data like the last week. But when I got there, I set the device to, I tried the manual way to upload, that didn't work, so I set it to real-time sync, and after a few seconds it was able to push the form. So I think I probably attribute that issue to a network problem.
Yeah,
but,
I think last week AMPF server has been up and down. Yeah.
And bit about it is that I think there's a clinical meeting which is going to be led by Dr. Kirui on Thursday. So all the clinicians are going to come in, and we're asking them to come with their devices, and we'll see what he actually called me yesterday with the same problem. So I think it would be nice if Simon can be there, then just probably try to get logs for that particular instance during upload.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it only one device has the problem, or?
He's the most active, so I would say pretty much I've used him to try and get any problems that they're facing. There's one who's very slow, and we want to use the Thursday meeting to understand why they're having difficulties in using it.
Okay, yeah, that it'd be great if you share the feedback after you guys talk to them.
We'll do that.
That'd be very helpful. Thanks.
I think just as a follow-up to that, I've actually used the device out in one of the dispensaries with Bruno, who's also one of our active clinical officers. I think there was no major problem with the upload. That was in the past week. So I hope I'll continue using it, especially in the field, and come up with more in terms of whether there's any challenge with the upload. And it's pretty critical for us because we hope to, in the next few weeks, have all the clinicians have their own devices and able to then upload all the data we can sync it so that it does automatically once they get on area of network, it is going to be very, very good for us.
Yes. So have you guys got new devices for your providers?
I think the LPO was released today, so the time frame for delivery I think is 3 weeks as per
So
the
which device you guys pick?
It's the same Zenfone 2 that you had recommended last time.
Oh, the Zenfone. Okay. So Simon's phone?
Yes, Simon's phone.
So we have Simon as tester. Okay, cool. Awesome. So I think because we don't have update from oncology, and as Robert mentioned, she's going to check for us after she go visit Kipto. That's all I have on my agenda. Now is any other things anyone want to discuss or to share or to ask?
Just for the CDM team, we hope to, once we have all the clinicians with the tablets, with the devices, we hope to increase the number of patients have all our patients registered and to have an AMRS ID at least in the next quarter, and then move forward with encouraging all the clinicians to use them for data entry in the field, and so hopefully by mid this year. We should have everybody on board, and this will get more active. And all these basically the error queue resolution, and also in addition to that, just having them be able to upload the data remotely from the various clinics when they're in the network area is going to be important for us. So I think this is going to be an exciting year, or 6 months. The next 6 months, we hope to move this very.
I agree with you. So I think in order to make sure that things working nice and smooth for the CDM program, we really need to put in the efforts to make sure that we have weekly monitoring and also action to be taken for the error resolution. So is there someone or some some people that assigned for this particular task? Because this is a very important task.
What specific task are you referring to?
The error resolution.
I think that the team that is basically just Tor and Lawrence and myself would be the ones who are on it, and so it's once we have the errors, then I think we'll discuss among ourselves and just assign one individual to be able to follow up the error resolution. And I think the aim would be to have all errors resolved in a timely fashion, as you mentioned.
Yes, yeah, I think that would be very important. Yes, especially if you have the return visit, we want to make sure that all this information accurately processed and bring in additional information if it's existing. Yeah, record.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. So, anyone else? Sounds like a no. This is a great call, and thank you everyone for joining the call. And we'll communicate again through the tickets. And please update the tickets if things has been done, or even you're waiting for something and things like that. Just try to update every so and often, so that we know things are being taken care of. We'll chat again this Friday. So have a good day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.